Thursday afternoon here. Oh my goodness, who is that in the chat? Who is that? What are you doing here?
Hi guys,
Maeve
I'm
Brooks.
back.
Oh my goodness, where have you been?
All over.
Don't talk about it yet. We'll talk about it in a few minutes. We're gonna have a fantastic episode here at the Altar Live show. But before we get there, as we typically do, while we're waiting for the internet machines to sync up and everywhere that everyone's watching this to kind of jump on board with us, we wanted to give you a recommendation either from the world of media or the world of food or from the world of TV. In this case, I'm giving a recommendation. And it's something that I've been eating a lot of, and it probably shouldn't be eating a lot of it because I do like to think that I'm a fairly health-conscious individual. But they're called high chews. Have you ever had a high chew?
Oh, yes. I know high chews very well.
So a friend, somebody in the office here, one of our creatives here, directed me towards high chews. And if you don't know what they are like... They're Japanese Starburst, but they're more like taffy. I would say they're like Laffy Taffy.
Yeah,
like Laffy Taffy bites.
They taste more fruity though, and I feel like they're like juicier. If that's kind of gross, but I feel like you get like more juice out of them.
Ooh, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Like they have a distinct. It's like bubble gum, but you can swallow the gum, and eventually it goes away. Like you can chew it as long as you want, or you can just like tear it up and swallow it, however you want to do it. But like somebody at the office brought some in, and I went on Amazon and I bought a box of 300 high chews for like $30, and that was about a month ago, and I've been slowly working my way through, and I just got to the last one today, and so I had to order another box. But they're like assorted. Some of them were weird, some of them are normal, like, you know, the lemon and watermelon and mango and kiwi, but then some of them are weird. There's like a cola one.
Oh,
so it tastes like Coke, and it's fascinating. There's one that's a yogurt, so you would think like yogurt wouldn't taste good, but it's probably my favorite one that I've had.
Oh my gosh. Is it like plain yogurt or is it like vanilla yogurt or something?
It's like Greek yogurt.
Okay.
You know how like Greek yogurt tastes different than regular yogurt? Mm-hmm. It's that. And it feels, it's got a good mouthfeel, which kind of feels gross.
It does. Like, you know, it's a little gross, but it's got a good mouthfeel. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what all the Top Chef people say, right? It's got a good mouthfeel. So, because that's us, we're Top Chefs. But the high chew experience that I've had in the office has been one that I don't know that I would recommend for everybody, because I've been plowing through these things like 5 or 6 of them a day, and that's not good for you. But at the same time, YOLO. Like I've just been YOLOing it all over these high chews, just like whatever. And I've been trying. I don't like fruit. That's a well-established pattern in my life. Like I don't like any fruit. But the kiwi and the grapefruit ones, delicious. And the mango, I have not found a high chew. That's not true. I found one, and I can't pronounce the name of it. It's Japanese. It just tasted like. Did you ever eat Fun Dip? Do you know what that is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you remember the stick of Fun Dip?
Yes. Okay.
So it just tasted like that, but like more cardboardy than anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was
not the best.
No,
I
not
like
the best.
I haven't had the kiwi or what was the other one you said? I've had the mango.
Pineapple? Or no, the grapefruit.
Grapefruit. I haven't had that one. I don't like. I've had the grape and the that sour apple, which I really like.
Oh, that sour apple's dope.
And I'm not always a big sour apple person, but a sour apple high chew is really good.
Yeah.
We would always get them at H Mart, which is a Korean grocery store, and it's not near us, but it would always be like on the way back from, you know, if we were coming like through New Jersey. And so we would, or like if my dad was coming home from work, like, cause he had an office in New Jersey, so he'd always pick up like a couple like packs of high chews, and my younger sister would just like plow through like her entire thing, and I'd like always try to save mine. So I have like the happy memories with the high chews, so that warms my heart.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, man, I highly recommend a Haichu. Go to Amazon. There's like you can get 100 of them for like 14 bucks or 30. You can get
Oh my
300 of them for
god.
30 bucks if you want to just be a total
Yeah.
idiot like I was.
Or smart, because
I mean, I thought I was smart. I shared some as well. So I didn't eat all 300. I probably ate like 250 of them though by
Oh my
myself.
gosh.
Yeah. So anyway, bring me the wealth of your haichu candies and we will take it. Hey, we first off, I'm not in my normal studio. We're recording this a little bit early, just because of some unavailabilities and things like that on my part. But what we really wanted to get to today was
Mhm.
less about where I'm recording this and more about the fact that the amazing person next to me is like back on the show after
Yeah.
5 shows being off,
I
which
know,
is
it's wild.
it was nuts. And it was like we had
Mhm.
some great interviews and stuff, but it was it was not the same Ultra Live show. And so Maeve, today we wanted to kind of peel back the curtain a little bit and just have you walk us through like where you've been for the last month, the kind of walkabout that you've been doing, and yeah, your entire pilgrimage to the motherland.
Yeah. I know. It's kind of insane because I really did not think this was going to happen. So, for those of you who don't know, I was in the UK. I was in England for pretty much the whole time. We did like a little stint in Paris for just like a day, which was not enough time, but it was
No.
a good taste. And I'm thankful for, the time I had in Paris. But yeah, so I was in England for this last month, like 3.5 weeks or so.
Hmm.
And the way it came about was very spur of the moment, which I don't like spontaneous things. I like to have things planned. I like to have a set time. And so this was very like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna rally and we're gonna do this. So a little bit before Easter, we had some family who actually live in the UK come and visit us, and they were staying through Easter. And it's my great aunt and her husband and the rest of like her kids who are grown up, but they kind of some live there, and then some live in other parts of Europe or even the Middle East. And so she came to visit and she just kind of started saying that, you guys should just come visit. Bring it could just be the sisters. So I have 3 sisters, but the youngest one, she's pretty young. So it was just like gonna be at first it only started out being who my sister Eve, who this was her gap year. So in between high school and college. And so she worked a lot this year, but she really wanted to do something big. But we were trying to figure out what, and like not a lot of people are traveling or like just starting to travel. So we didn't really know what was going to happen. And so when my aunt presented this idea, we were like, okay, sure. Yeah, we'll come visit you in a month. Like I was like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. But then once we kind of pressed her on it and think like, okay, is this something that you can actually do? You don't mind us coming to your house in like a month or like 3 weeks or however, long it takes us to get our stuff together. And she was like, yeah, totally come. You can stay with us. You can travel around. You can, do whatever you want. Like our house can be just this hub for you while you're, off traveling or doing whatever you want to do. And so my parents were actually like, you should really consider doing it. And I was like, okay. And so we got home. So we were like all kind of together in like a nice house by the beach just for Easter. And then we came back and I was like, okay, I think this is happening. So we had to start researching and we really pulled it together in maybe, I don't know, 2-3 weeks. Like I think it wasn't really gonna happen. And then we were like, okay, we need to look at flights. And we were thinking, okay, definitely for the month of June. And we started looking, and what actually happened is that like, okay, we should plan, we should look and see. Okay, I was thinking like June 7th, and then we'd stay until like July 7th. But then with like the way everything worked out, it was like May 30th or like May 29th. That was like the way. I was like, okay, like it's happening this month. And so that's really like the genesis of the trip, of, you know, my family just being like, you should really take this opportunity because, you know, things are opening up, things are like chilling out. Your sisters are kind of in a place where they can travel. You have like a flexible job, you know, with Ultra Live. There's a lot of flexibility, which is really great. And so I was like, okay, yeah, I guess. It's honestly now or never. And so, yeah, we just started planning and we started picking out places we want to go and going, you know, back and forth. And that part was definitely like, I don't know if you've probably planned trips. I never planned a trip like by myself. Like I was always like family vacations, you know, like my idea of a vacation is going to like a location where there's, you know, minimal Wi-Fi, you're maybe near the beach and you read a book. Like that's my vacation. So the idea of traveling around Europe, I was like, I have no idea what's going to happen. But you know, we're back safe, so that's good.
So, talk to me about the actual like travel itself. Was it a pain to get over there? What did you have, like a straight through flight out of where, Philly or New York?
We went from Newark, so like
Okay.
Newark to New Jersey. Philly, you know, it's hit or miss. Sometimes you can get a direct flight, sometimes you can't. And usually Newark is cheaper. And so we were able to get some good flights out of Newark. And getting out there, there was like a little bit of delays, but like it wasn't, it was like definitely frustrating, but it wasn't too bad. And also, and getting home was like surprisingly easy, which I was really thankful for. But there's been a lot of, you know, like staff shortages, and, you know, people, the airlines are like, get here, you know, 3-4 hours before. And usually we get there maybe like 2 hours before. So we really had to plan. But getting over there was fine. And so we stayed. So the family who lives in England, they live in Uxbridge, which is a suburb of London, but it's still part of like the tube map. So they live in Zone 6, which is a little ways out, but it's like very accessible. You know, you can walk to the tube station, take the tube into the city, you know, whenever you want. You could do it every day if you wanted to.
Hmm.
So getting there was like, I think the biggest like hurdle was just like the planning, you know, figuring out, because like luckily we had a place to stay with family, but then once we got there we were like, we don't want to just like laze around the house. We want to like get up and go. And like, even though I wanted to read my book, I was like, no, we gotta hustle and see the sights.
Totally. So
Yeah.
what was the first thing you guys did when you got there? Sleep?
So my sister slept. I was like, I'm not gonna sleep. Like I like really wanted to power through and fight jet lag. So I think I actually got there because you take a red eye when you go over there. So it's like we left at, I don't know. I was supposed to be like 9, but I think we probably ended up leaving at like 11
Mm.
p.m. and then we got there like, you know, the 12 hours 12 hours later their time. So then like 11 a.m., 12 p.m. their time. And so it was like midday and I was like, okay, we're going to power through until like 8. And so my sisters, they were like, I don't care. I'm going to sleep in. And I was like, I really don't want to. I really don't want to do that because I had like dealt with like jet lag before. And so I was like, I'm going to power through. So I don't know. I think I might have just like worked a little bit, to be honest, like finished a few things for
Nerd.
Ultra Live and listened to a podcast, read. I don't know. I was like trying to stay awake. And then towards the end of the night, towards the end of the day, we walked around Uxbridge a little bit because it's a little bit of like it's like a town area. Like they live in a nice neighborhood tucked away, but then you can kind of walk into town, and so you can walk around. And so that was a nice way to end our first day. But I was like a zombie,
How
as
are
you are.
how are prices over there? Is it expensive?
Um, yes, I think everything is more expensive. I think you think like, oh, it's only however many pounds, but then once you do the
The
conversion,
conversion. Yeah.
it's like it's more expensive, but it's not. It's like there were definitely times where I was like, okay, we're only going to be here once. Or, like, I mean, who knows, like, when we're going to come here again. Like, this trip is never going to happen again, maybe with, like, the three of us. And so there were times where, like, we gotta do it. And I'll talk more about that when we get to, like, the places we went. But then, like, on food, we kind of, like, since we were staying with family, we, like, packed lunches and only ate in restaurants that we, like, really wanted to try, like Nando's, and get fish and chips and the classic stuff like that. So it was definitely one of those things where it's like, okay, we're not gonna spend an unnecessary amount of money, but we're also not gonna be, like, too cheap, because when we got to take advantage of this opportunity. So it was like, it was good. I think we bounced each other out well in terms of, like, encouraging people, like encouraging my sister, like, you should buy that, or like, oh, I don't know if it's worth it. So it was good.
You guys you're the angel and the devil on your sister's shoulder. Buy it, don't buy it. Die. Oh man.
Exactly.
Her
I know,
pocketbook is
because
hating you.
I know. I was like, oh, I will never financially recover from this. No, but that was just the joke that we would say, but it's all fine. But it was fun. It was like, it's one of those things where you're like, when am I gonna get to do this next? But I was really proud of myself, because the one thing that, like, probably one of the like, the highlights of the trip was going to the Globe, and the tickets I got were like £5. So I
Wow.
was like, yeah, I was, like, really happy with that. And you can
How'd you do
get, like,
that?
really cheap. So this is part of, like, I don't know how we were gonna break it up in terms of, like, top 5, things,
Yeah.
but I'll just
Let's.
go it
Okay.
go
Well,
okay.
like, give a preview. Give a preview of that.
So there's, like, different levels of, like, the seating charts at the Globe, like regular venues, but they model it the way, because, like, the Globe Theater itself is only 25 years old, but it's, like, modeled after, the original. And so the pricing is like how, or like the seating is like how it would have been. And so we got, like, the peasant seats, which is like standing room only, which is like, I wanted that because I was so up close. Like, I was looking up and the actor was right there, and it was amazing. I felt spit at one point. It was a great theater experience. And so the
Gross.
fact that it was only like £5, I was like, we're going for it.
I love it. What did you see?
Much Ado About Nothing.
That's right. Yeah, Much Ado. I
Mhm.
forgot about that.
And that's such a fun one.
Okay, so let's talk about favorite things, and then we can do top five, worst five, high five, low five, if you want to do that in a little bit as well.
Okay.
But you did bring some pictures, so you let me know when you
I
want to
did.
display
Yes.
those.
Yeah.
But
And it doesn't, so I just wanted to do it like a smattering, because there's a lot of stuff.
totally. All right, so here's a
So
picture.
that's the
So
globe.
I'm okay. So this is the globe behind it. It's a
Mhm.
weird angle. You look like
Yes.
you're.
And that's why I did it, because it cracks me up. Like,
Yeah.
the proportions are so off. And so, because my sister had just got a new phone, and so she was playing with the camera. And I just found it so funny. But, like, that's who I am, just like a little egghead, like, so excited to be in a theater setting. Like, that is, like, my true happy place. And so
Nerd.
it just, like, was the perfect description of my mood that day.
What a
Just
nerd.
like, small head,
Let's
big
zoom in.
dreams.
Let's zoom in. That's so funny.
It was so good.
Cool. This looks interesting because there's like a oddly oriental feel to it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I think if I like the one thing I wish I had done is, like, you can take tours and they kind of give you the history of it. I was more like, okay, let me get my show, like, see the show and get that in order. But if I had to go back, I would definitely try to also get a tour and learn more about it, because I did know at one point, like, I learned all about it in school, but it has escaped me. But it was so cool because they would let you in, like, the standing room seats, and you would just go wherever you wanted. So even no matter where you entered from, because we entered all the way to like one end, and then I went all the way to the end I am now. And I just like, I just like planted myself and like see those people, they're just like resting their whole body on the stage. And it's fun because like the actors would interact with them, because Shakespeare is very, audience friendly, very interactive. Yeah. It's like the monologues are like directly to the audience most of the time. And so it was just a great, it was like, that was like such a highlight. Wow. And I have like my little, and it's cold. You never know what it's gonna be like, because this is June and it's freezing there. So that was also something to get. And it was supposed to rain. It was like 80% chance of rain that day. And it's not like we're in the yard seats. Like if we had been in the seats around, we would have not, been dry. But I was like planning, I was like to my sisters, I was like, okay, just so you know, like I lied about two things. I lied about the length of the show, and I lied that it wasn't supposed to rain, because they're not theater people. But I was like, you have to see this. So I told them the show was like 2 hours. It was more like 3 hours. And I said it was supposed to be sunny. And it turned out it didn't rain. So God bless for that.
Amen. On you and your children. Were they cranky that the show was too long?
Oh my gosh, no, they loved it. I was so happy. But it was so funny because I went right up to the stage, and they kind of hung in the back because you could kind of like rest on the side, because I was like, just so you know, like there's nowhere to sit, like you could sit on the ground, but no one's gonna do that. But then when I think after like the first half, like towards the beginning, like the first quarter of the show, they like started kind of weaving their way to the front and then were up with me, because it's just like so great when the actors are like right in front of you. It was great.
Awesome. Next image we have, what's
going on here? Is Canterbury.
Okay.
So yeah, Canterbury Tales, Chaucer, land of, all that good stuff. And so this was a day trip. We went on a Sunday, and it was just really nice. And this scene, it's just like so picturesque. I had seen a picture on like some Instagram page that was like photos of Britain or something, and I saw this scene, and I was looking all over for it, and we had been walking all along the little canals, and then I turned back, and that was the scene. It was just like behind me the whole time, but I was just looking at it at the wrong angle. I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. And so that was a happy moment for me, because I'm all about the good pictures. And we didn't get to go in the boats, but it was just so fun watching them. And there was like a lot of people playing in the canals too, so it was just really, really quaint, really fun, just like a nice place to walk around.
This looks dangerous right here.
I know, and like the architecture is so old, and it's just so cool, and everything looks very unstable, but it's just it's standing its ground.
Up next on Maeve's incredible trip, we have
This is the Roman baths in Bath. Yes, Bath. I loved Bath. I knew when we were going, I was like, we have to go to Bath, because I'm a big Jane Austen, like Regency nerd. I love period pieces. I love Jane Austen, all that stuff. And so I just finished Persuasion, and in it, actually, the main character like talks about how much she hates Bath. And Jane Austen didn't even like Bath, because she could never get any work done in Bath. But I was like, I still have to see it. And so Bath is known. It was a Roman city, so it's known for this big Roman bath. And so this is all hidden. Like, so you'll walk in and you can so the big building behind it is Bath Abbey. So it's a big church with beautiful stained glass. But from like, I guess the sidewalk, you can't see the Roman bath, because they do a good job of hiding it. So you have to pay to go see, which is totally worth it. It was a little pricey, and I was like, ugh, but I was like, all right, when are we going to do this again? It was so worth it. And then you kind of do one of those little audio tours, which I love. And you come up to the terrace and you walk all around, and then you can go down to the bottom. I did not touch the water. I think like people are trying to do that. It looks super duper gross, and it's like pretty hot too, so I don't know why you would do that. But yeah, you could walk all down there, and then there were also places on the side to show different areas where, you know, Romans would like have a sauna, and but also then go into like the cold room, but then there was also like the exercise room, and so it was just a really cool exhibit. But just kind of being at the top, looking down and seeing Bath Abbey in the background was just spectacular. And it was a beautiful day too.
This is a good shot right here.
Yes, so that's courtesy of my sister. Her phone takes really good photos. This is Kensington Gardens. So I'm pretty sure. No, yes, I am sure. I think in the building in the back is Kensington Palace, I want to say, which is where William and Kate live.
Oh.
Yes. And so this
there?
was.
Did you say hey?
You know, I waved. I don't know if they saw.
You know,
but
they might be busy.
Yeah. I did see Princess Anne though.
What?
Yeah, I did. She was coming back from St. Paul's Cathedral like the day before the Jubilee, because we went down near Buckingham Palace. We could like not get through. That was because there was just like they made like a huge stage, and so they were like practicing. So that was kind of cool to listen because it was like Broadway people. But you just saw this car, and I saw this woman who looked vaguely familiar, and it turned out it was Princess Anne, and she waved at me, but also at the crowd. So I didn't feel too connected to her, but it was my first royal sighting. I was pretty impressed. And it was like the first day, like our first full day. So
did you say I saw you on The Crown? You're really on The Crown?
Yeah, I bet she would love that.
Oh yeah, totally. I'm sure she's never heard that before. Yeah.
I love your character.
Yeah, you're a real spitfire on that show. What do we got here? The Eagle. Oh,
now
Eagle
we've jumped to Oxford.
Yep.
This is the Eagle and Child, where C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien would hang out.
And somebody else.
Yes.
Do you know who else? T.S. Eliot.
T.S. Eliot. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was closed. I don't know how long it's going to be closed, so we just got to get a nice picture, but I thought it would be a nice photo to show because it's such
like
a nice
COVID?
time.
COVID closed?
It might be. I think so, but yeah, I don't know. It was, it's just a temporarily closed. So hopefully it opens soon because I'd love to go in. Yeah, and Oxford was really cool. We did an overnight there. We just found a nice little, like a guest house, and spent time there walking around, and took a little river cruise. It was fun.
A river cruise, huh? That's awesome.
It was so fun. I felt like I was in The Wind in the Willows. Have you seen that movie?
Hell yeah.
At the beginning, when they're all in the boat. Oh, and this is Gay Paris.
Gay Paris. This looks like you went to Paris. We love this. You look extremely happy to be taking a picture right now.
Oh my gosh. This is like 11 miles into our walk. I'm like, please just take the photo. Those are my sisters.
Just please leave me alone. I want to. This. They're like, they're hanging out. And you're like, oh my gosh,
they're
I'm
glamorous.
dying here.
Yeah, they're so glamorous.
Did you go up in the Eiffel Tower?
No, we did not. That's next time. I was like, I cannot. Well, you can't even get, because like we walked to it, and then you can't even like approach it without paying. So I was like, all right, maybe next time. But I know it's such an iconic building, but I was blown away by how big it is. Like it is so big, and you don't realize it until you're up close. And I was just taken aback by just like the scale of it, because it looks like pretty, because we're at a distance, obviously, and it doesn't look as big. But when you're up close, as close as you can get without paying, it is huge. And I was like craning my neck to see it all.
Really?
Yeah.
This is the last shot. The last one.
Yes. And that's the Radcliffe Camera, which is an iconic building in Oxford. It was It was so cool to see. I wish I had gone in, but only students can go in. My sister, she's like, well, now I want to do like a semester in Oxford. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you totally should.
And then I
Because I
could
think your
come visit
college
you.
has, yeah, totally. And it was just it was such a nice area, nice place to walk around, just crazy, amazing architecture and fun bookstores. And yeah, I like dragged my sisters into every bookstore I saw, I'm pretty
Of course.
sure. And
Yeah.
yeah, you just have to. Yeah. So
So
just a little smattering.
let's run through top five. Well,
Mhm.
let's do high five and then low five.
Okay.
So high five.
Okay.
And do you have them ranked?
I have them. I don't know if they're ranked. They were kind of just as I well, I guess I can just pick really quick. I
That's
think
fine.
honestly my one of my highlights was going to the Globe. Like I went like that was so huge for me. It was within the first week, so it was like starting off on like such a high note. And I wouldn't say like, oh, it was a letdown that we started so high. Like I think it just like made the trip more enjoyable because I'd be like, oh my gosh, like we went to the Globe. Like I keep remembering. And it was such a good show. And so my family, they're very appreciative of the arts. Like they love the arts, but you will not see them going to a play or musical or watching anything of that sort. And so I was like, you guys, it's Shakespeare, but it's if you they do it really well, obviously, because it's the Globe and it's gonna be good. Sure, maybe you won't get some parts, but I'll explain them to you. Like it's just a cultural experience. You need to go. And they're like, yeah, okay, sure. And my sisters loved it. And that just warmed my heart too, because, I like really hoped, like, I didn't want them to be like, oh, why did my sister like drag me out into the cold for 3 hours standing watching people talk in like meter? um, but it was so good. And Much Ado About Nothing is such a fun one to do. Like it's so happy. Sure, there's a low part because every comedy has a low part in Shakespeare, but it's such a fun one and a summery one and hilarious. So I was so happy about that. Um, so another high would be I think how accessible things were in terms of travel and price. Price meaning there was a lot of free things
Hmm.
like museums, National Gallery free. You just walk in. Wallace Collection free. Tate Modern Museum, they have free exhibits. Victoria Albert Museum free. They'll have like exhibits that you pay, but there's so much that's free and you can just walk in and you can do like a museum, so many museums in a day or spread them out. And I just really appreciate that because
Hmm.
having the arts accessible to whoever, and I think it's so important. And it's just so crazy to see like crazy pieces of art that I'm trying to think of. I mean, there's so much. Like I love Dutch art and was so much in the National Gallery and like Rembrandt free. Like you get to see that free. That's insane. And then travel, the navigating the tube is so easy and you wouldn't think it would be easy, but everything is mapped out. The tube map is really easy to follow once you're in the tube. They like repeat where they're going like 5 times, so you like will never miss it. And if I was in a really like great place where I could walk pretty much everywhere. I never had to like rent a car or anything I was really really grateful for that. Another highlight is just taking like the short day trips. Like we went to Windsor, just like which was the like during the Jubilee, which was insane because everyone and their mother was there. We thought everyone and their mother would be in London, which they probably were, but then also everyone was in Windsor. But that's so crazy how, you drive maybe 20 minutes and there's a castle and you're just
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. Hey, Queen.
Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff that's happened here over the last 2,000 years.
I know, crazy. So we went to Windsor, Bath, which I already talked about. I just love Bath. I would go back to Bath in a heartbeat. We went to Stratford upon Avon, which was really fun. Canterbury was beautiful. Oxford was really fun too. I think just kind of picking places that um that you maybe heard about in, literature and were able to go and look around, or places you never even heard of, and you're just like, I'm going to go to this neighborhood today. So, yeah, because so the next one would be, picking different neighborhoods and just spending the day in it. Like I told my aunt we were going to Marylebone, which is just a neighborhood in England, and she was like, "Why do you want to go there? That's like where I get my hair done." And I was like, "Well, we'd never been before." And then it turned out to be that's where the Wallace collection was, and this really good coffee shop and the bookstore, like the iconic bookstore I've always wanted to see. So you never know what you're gonna find, and just picking out little places and spending the day in it is always like a fun idea. Oh, we went to Camden, which is really fun. That's where like I think it's like where the punk rock, like the punk um started. And I actually met up with like an old camp friend who was living in England for school. So I was able to meet up with her, and I hadn't seen her a few years. So that was really fun. Yeah, and just like a lot of fun open markets, and you could just walk around and, get little touristy things if you want. So a lot of good stuff. I think I did all of it. Oh, the fourth one was spending time with like the family I don't normally see, and also spending time with my sisters. Like the family we stayed with, we see them, once every couple years. And so it was just nice to live with them for a little bit and, spend time, get to know each other better. Just love the family time.
Totally. Let's go low five then, because on the heels of every great trip, there's also some annoyances and things like that. So I want to hear you roast. I want to hear
Oh
you
my gosh.
roast England and this trip and everything. Go for it. Just get
Oh
after
my
them.
gosh. I know. Well, the worst things, like I would want to say like worst, maybe like challenging. Like I think what surprised me the most is I totally had culture shock, which I did not expect, because you think like you speak the same language. It's a completely different culture. I remember the first time on the tube and just like listening to all the different accents and dialects and just the types of people you would encounter. I was like on high alert. Not that I
Yep.
was like, scared or anything, but just like overwhelmed of the amount of people I was around, because I'm a country bumpkin who's like doesn't go into the city. And then two, the amount of different accents, just even British accents. Like that's the thing, like the amount of different English accents, and also the like London's a very diverse city, so the amount of, the diversity I was seeing, which was really cool, but also like, wow, I haven't seen this in a while, being, at home working remotely. um so that was really interesting, but like once, you got over it, it was fine. Just like the interesting people you'd see on the tube, like the London fashion, the London like vibe, it's different, and you think like, oh, we're pretty much the same, but we are, but we're also not.
Totally.
Yeah, I think the next one would be, these aren't really in an order, I'm just like call them out. I think trying not to have FOMO, but not like FOMO of like, oh, what I'm missing back at home. It's like I saw so much, but there was so much I also didn't see. And I think I really struggled with like, okay, we have to do this, and this. Oh my gosh, we didn't get to this thing. My life is over. Like, that's like, and my sisters were like, look at how much we did. And I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. Okay. Because I always want to be, the one who's getting the cultural experience. Like, I want to learn about, the significance of this. Or if I'm in a museum, I like want to read everything. Or if we're in a specific city, like I want to see the sites that define this city. But I don't know. I'm like trying to learn to just, one, take my time, enjoy, and then not stress about, because like you're never going to be able to see everything. So that was like one challenging thing that I like continually had to remind myself that like it's okay.
I get it. I
And
get it. And also, you
yeah,
don't have unlimited money. You don't have unlimited
yeah.
time. You don't have unlimited energy. Nothing.
I know, because there was so much, because we when we were in Paris, it was so much fun, but we were like our time was limited, and we ended up walking so much that first day. By the end, I was like, I need to go to bed so we can like make the most of the next day. So yeah, so that was definitely something that was challenging, but I don't it was fine. The next one was like tube strikes. Towards the end of our time, there started to be a lot of like scheduled tube strikes where the workers were just like, I'm not working, cuz I think it was a lot to do with like money. It's like they wanted to be paid more, but
Yeah.
also I think it might have had to do with like COVID stuff too.
Hmm.
And so that caused some like rearranging. Like for a little bit, we were like, we don't know if we can go to Paris because get to we can't take the tube to the train station to get us to Paris. And then also the Eurostar, which we took, was also like, this your train might be canceled. And I was like, oh, okay.
So I might be stuck in Paris. Great.
Exactly. So that was like one thing I was like, oh, tube strikes. Okay, never had to deal with that before.
Hmm.
And so like, we had to when we left, we had to like order, a cab for like the first time ever because the tube was closed, or like we didn't know if we were going to be able to make it on time because there was a tube strike and there was like shortage of staff for the airlines. So that was an interesting thing to consider to think about.
Yeah.
But that was like towards the end, so it wasn't like too bad. I think it just like there were moments where I was like, "Oh, hopefully we can make it to our flight, or hopefully we can make it to Paris." But we did. We conquered. We conquered all. Um, and then the next one, I don't know if it would be the worst. I think it was just something kind of crazy. I think the chaos with the Jubilee, just the amount of people that were there. I wouldn't call it the worst thing, and I wouldn't call it like difficult, but there was a lot of things we couldn't see because like I don't think I got to get up close to Buckingham Palace. I've seen it before, but I always, if I can get up close to a castle, I want to get up close to a castle. So that was definitely something. And the amount of people was just insane. I've never seen like a bigger crowd of people, which is really cool, but also like, where'd you all come from? But also
Yeah.
why? But also, says the person who went to England during the Jubilee.
Yeah. That was on you.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody went to England on the Jubilee.
I know. It was crazy. It was so cool. It was like, I wouldn't call it the worst. I wouldn't call it the best. It was just like something that, just like the chaos that ensued. The fact that there was such a cool celebration was really surreal and amazing because it was such a momentous occasion. But I was like, this is a big deal. And I don't fully understand it. And I don't think I ever will. And
You don't need to. We don't have a queen.
yeah, we don't.
Cool.
Um, Yeah, and then I think the fifth one is just like it wasn't the worst, and it was just challenging. I think overall it was just out of my comfort zone. So
Oh
just
yeah.
yeah, totally like powering through, and also get it, rallying. Like we all like helped each other out, which was really great. But yeah, it's like it's crazy. Like I'm such a like I like to like I said before, my ideal vacation is reading a book and swimming or laying on the beach or something. So I was like, "Oh, okay, I might need a vacation after this vacation."
Well, we'll see you in August then. Have fun taking another month off. Cool. Well, Maeve,
But yeah.
we're very glad you're back. I'm very glad you're back. I know the rest of the team's very glad you're back. Yeah. Any last words before we sign off about England, about your trip, about everything?
I'm just so thankful that I was able to do it, and I was thankful that like everyone at Alter was so supportive of me doing it because yeah, it was an opportunity I don't know when I'll have again, and so I'm glad people like understood how exciting this was for me and my sisters and were just kind of cheering us on. So I was really thankful for that.
Absolutely. Well, I'm sure I speak for the rest of the Altar Life family when we say welcome back. And we are going to be off and running here in July. We've got a lot of fun stuff planned and on into August. Do you have other vacation plans, or was that it until like Christmas?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. Hopefully I'll like make it to the beach, on the weekend or something because it's not too far. But yeah, I think we're good. We're good for a while.
Totally. Well, we are going to wrap this one up here. Thanks for joining in on Maeve's Travelogue. I almost feel like we needed like you with a vlog camera or something like that, running around and just shooting vlogs. That would have been hilarious. Yeah, and if you have any questions or have any other recommendations for, the next time Maeve, in 20 years and the next time Maeve goes over to England, throw them in the comments or the chat. I'm sure she would love to.
Recommendations.
Absolutely. Things that we will never be able to see. You should go to the Harper's Inn and on downtown or wherever. It's like, okay, I'm not going to Suffolk. Sorry, that's not happening. Cool. Well, for Maeve Brooks, I'm Andy. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Altar Live Show. We will see you next week. Love ya.
Bye, guys.